Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5 pieces of lost media that never existed. So, let's begin. On April 30th, 2016, a user on Reddit went onto their subreddit r/tip of my joystick and made a post titled, "This game was kind of like Harvest Moon." And he described a game which he had played when he was younger, where you had ended up murdering your wife and hid her body on your farm. You had to manage and maintain your farm while keeping her body hidden from law enforcement, and would have to move the body occasionally to keep her from being found. And the end goal of the game was for her body to completely decompose. Many people became attracted to this game, and it got a lot of attention. People began searching to try and find this game, but despite the massive amount of attraction and attention it got, it went nowhere, as they were seemingly unable to find this game. And then he settled down for 2 more years, up until December 2018, when a user known as David Spade AMA made a post on the same subreddit describing a very similar game. This brought back new attention to the game, and later that month, on the 29th, another user known as Hadam Mia Baboozle made another post describing having played the game as well, but still owning it on his hard drive. But he claimed that the hard drive was damaged due to water and he needed to get it fixed. And for several months, he contacted somebody to try and get it fixed, but in the end, the hard drive was too water damaged for it to be fixed. Now, all of these 3 posts had differences in them, but the basics were still the same. More people began to come out claiming they also played it, and there were more differences. Some people claimed it was a Flash game. Some people claimed it was an RPG Maker game. Some people claimed that there was a fishing minigame. Some people said there were animations and cutscenes in it. Some people even said that there was a day system in it, where you count on each day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Now, eventually, on March 26, 2020, Sparta213, the original poster who started this all, did an AMA where he set some ground on what this game likely was. He claimed that everybody that wasn't him was a liar, and that there was no cutscenes, there was no RPG Maker, and it had to have been downloaded, and that it could not have been an animation, that he was not an animation guy then, and is still not an animation guy now. And he also mentioned, now some people had stated that it possibly could have been a dream he had made all of his head. He said that was a real possibility, because he used to take medication that would affect his dreams and things like that. Now, eventually, on June 13th, 2021, the mystery would be solved, as a user found a video, an animation of a Vinesauce stream. And in the Vinesauce stream that animated, Vinesauce described a hypothetical game in where you owned a farm, you killed your wife using what he described as a skillet, and you had to hide her body, maintain the farm, keep it running, while keeping her body hidden from the authorities. And Sparta said that he used to listen to Vinesauce streams to go to sleep during that time period where he took that medication that affected his dreams, during the time period where he said to have played the evil farming game, putting an end to the evil farming game. But of course, the question is, what did these other people play? What was on that hard drive? What did David Spade play? If there was no evil farming game, what did all these other people play then? Proof of thoughts. Number 2. The trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror point-and-click survival horror game developed by Scott Cawthon, was uploaded on the channel on June 14th, 2014. Now, there was a comment made on there by a man known as Wallmeat. Wallmeat said that he preferred this version over the original trailer, that the original trailer had to do with spikes, daggers, and blood, and that wasn't needed to make something scary, that people who did need to see that for things to be scared of them just didn't matter. Now, this comment would go unnoticed for about a decade or so, up until many, many, many years later, on July 15th, 2020, when a user known as Salkalik Meek was able to get in contact with him via Twitter, now X. He clarified that there was a second trailer that was not available on his channel anymore, which were gross and gory and scary. And these old ones featured a endoskeleton that had HAL 9000 eyes. So HAL 9000 is a highly advanced AI computer from the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, eventually, a screenshot of a endoskeleton with those sort of looking eyes is found on the Steam page, and by a user known as Invisible Fox 23. And shortly afterwards, the Freddy channel was able to find Scott's old Google Plus page, where he found free videos relating to Five Nights at Freddy's. The trailer, the gameplay footage, both are widely available on his channel, but another one titled Five Nights. Now, it was the following day, on July 16th, Lauren Claire came out and retracted the statement, saying that it was the actual original trailer, that when he was asked about that, he was talking about the actual trailer that was already around. So when they asked him about this other trailer, he was talking, when they asked about that, and he recalled that other trailer. He wasn't actually recalling a second trailer. He was just recalling the actual trailer we already had and putting it into the mystery. But the question is, what was Five Nights? King of the Hill is a popular American animated TV show that aired throughout the 1990s and 2000s, and further on, which aired on Adult Swim, and followed Hank Hill in his life as a propane salesman in Texas. Now, there was one specific episode called Pygmalion. This aired on January 12th, 2003, and this episode followed more of his wife Peggy and one of her family members, Lorraine. Now, this episode is known for being very dark for the show. Being a bit more out there and being dark, as the antagonist in this episode, Trip Larson, gets impaled in his own factory. He owns a pig factory, and he ends up getting impaled by the head this way. Now, this is shown as the camera cuts to Peggy and Lorraine just right before he's impaled, and we only hear his screams as he dies. And the camera continues to focus on Peggy and Lorraine as the episode ends. But according to people some people claim that in the original airing on that day, it actually showed a shot of his dead body after he was impaled. This circulated as a rumor for many, many years, from the 2000s and 2010s, up until February 4th, 2022, when a YouTube channel known as Mentos was able to track down a recording of the first airing of the episode, as the rumor has stated that this version was only seen in the first airing. Well, he uploaded this online, and you know what? There was no body. There was no dead Trip Larson body, proving the rumor to be false. During a podcast interview, a man known as Billy West, who worked on Billy West, claimed that in 1990, Kurt Cobain, member of the band Nirvana, best remembered for their hit single "Smells Like Teen Spirit," went to the Spunko Animation Studio, the company that animated Ren and Stimpy, and asked to make a theme song for the show, and presented it to him and the creator of the show. Now, they didn't like the song, nor did they like his arrogance, so they threw it out after he left. And this story circulated for many, many, many years, being a big staple in the early Lost Media store community. The idea that Kurt Cobain, the man himself, recorded a Ren and Stimpy theme song. Now, later on May 10th, 2022, Billy West was asked about this again, and he denied this ever happening, even though he was the one who started the story. And the creator of the show, John, he was actually asked about it in July 2019, and he didn't even know what the heck they were talking about. He'd never heard of the rumor, and he said he had no memory of such thing ever happening. Time for number 5. Now, there was an eBay listing that went up in the early 2010s. This eBay listing was for a movie that you could pre-order titled A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie. And it showed a box art for a DVD movie that advertised itself as being a mockumentary. Yeah. Now, eventually, the day that it was supposed to be released passed. There had been several pre-orders, but no orders ever came, despite the date passing. This brought attention to the community, and people began to search for it. Now, they found a Twitter post from January 1st, 2012, of a man claiming that he was actively watching The Day of SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, even putting the colons between the colons. Now, eventually, they were able to dig deep and deeper and get in contact with Regal Films, the alleged creators of it, and they were able to find a synopsis of it through Regal Films on their website. Now, according to the synopsis that they were able to gather, the story of A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants went as follows. SpongeBob in this universe is a Hollywood star just like anybody else in real life, like Tom Cruise or such. His agent was worried about him no longer being famous anymore and losing his presence. So he decided to hold a contest to bring back his popularity, where he could win a contest and spend a day with SpongeBob SquarePants. A young lad known as Seth won this contest and was able to spend a day with him. He was ecstatic about this, but things went terribly, terribly wrong, and now they gotta try and fix things. Now, as things went deeper and deeper, they found more about Regal Films. They have produced several films, but most of these were unauthorized documentaries about people. Very, very low budget, bad movies you would only find maybe on Tubi or in the DVD clearance aisle. And as they went further and tried to contact people, a lot of them were very hostile to them about this. And as they went further and further and further, it seemed that they were likely going on that Regal Films never really existed. There was no Regal Films. It was a big scam or for money laundering scheme. Now, they were eventually able to get in contact with a man known as Mr. Orange. He was by that for privacy reasons. And he was involved in the production of A Day of SpongeBob SquarePants. He claimed that there was never a movie made. They never created it. It was only just an idea, a pitch they made, how he wanted to make it, and he was inspired by the old John Hughes films. John Hughes is best remembered from movies like The Breakfast Club and such. Now, but this movie never got made. But he said he would still make it. He would just need it to be crowdfunded. But such a crowdfunding endeavor never took place. And from what it seems, David SpongeBob SquarePants, an idea he had, wanted to make, but never did make, and that the Regal Film was some kind of was a distributor, and from what, according to him, was centered out of his friend's garage. It was never really a true movie studio. So that's all for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you all again sometime soon with another video about Lost Media. See you all around. Bye. Have a nice time.